Most moms who are raising sovereign kids believes that their reaction is the problem. That's what's going to stop them from being able to raise a confident, free-thinking child. But it's actually the belief systems that are beneath the reaction that we need to work on. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you some of the most common subconscious beliefs that mothers hold on to. And these are the belief systems that are silently shaping how you react and show up for your child, how safe you feel, and the level of peace you have within your home. And the real kicker is, once you hear these belief systems, you won't be able to unhear them. And you'll start to see them showing up everywhere in your life. If you've been following along on this series, we have talked about how belief systems shape your life, why they are activated in motherhood, and how to actually uncover them in a very simple and effortless technique. And in today's video, I'm going to actually be supporting you in figuring out some of the top belief systems that I actually seen in my clients over the past 10 years of working with them, as well as I've had to clear them for myself. Because the beauty about doing this work and actually having a list for you of what you can test is that it begins to take away the power. Once you realize you hold on to a belief system, it no longer has that unconscious and subconscious control over you. And that provides you the opportunity to be able to change the pattern, change the belief system, so that way you can model sovereignty to your kids, which is why you're here, right? Right. Okay, so I'm going to be actually reading off a couple of the top belief systems that I have inside the belief vault. Now, if you don't know what this is, the belief vault is a curated list of over 50 belief systems that mothers tend to hold on to, from everything from self-worth to money to health to relationships, all areas of your life. So I'm going to read you a couple of the ones that I have found majority of mothers hold on to and need to be reprogrammed in order for you to have the capacity to raise a sovereign child. And if you want to get your hands on the belief vault, you can do so in the description. So let's get into it. The first belief is, I am unsafe. Now, how this shows up in motherhood is that you may have a lot of anxiety around different things to do with your child. For myself, it showed up in her sleep. My daughter really struggled with sleep. She had acid reflux. She was waking up every hour and I had to hold her upright for 30 minutes. She had short naps unless it was contact sleeping. And it brought me to the point where I no longer felt safe in her sleep patterns. So I had a lot of anxiety around her sleep until I tested and found out that I had this belief, and I did the reprogramming, and everything shifted for me and my daughter's sleep. You may find that you have over-controlling behavior. So for myself and my daughter's sleep, I tended to be really strict on everyone had to be as quiet as possible when she was sleeping, because I didn't want the slightest thing to wake her up, because it instantly put me into fight or flight. You may be controlling on their food, where they're walking, what they're wearing. It could be every little thing, but you'll notice that it starts to get bigger and bigger of what you are trying to control, because your reaction is just a consequence to the underlying belief of I am unsafe. One of the biggest things that you will find when you have this belief system is that you anticipate problems. So you try your best to plan ahead, but it just keeps you in this space of overthinking and worrying and anxiety. So you can't even relax and enjoy motherhood. And I know for myself, I experienced a lot of postpartum anxiety and rage because of this belief that I was unsafe. Okay, this brings me to the second belief. My voice causes problems. Did this belief ever run the show for me? And if you get constant throat infections or sore throats, or you feel this inner rage like I did my first year postpartum, then you have this belief system. So this belief system will show up in you doing your best to avoid conflict. You are afraid to speak your truth, to ask for your needs, because maybe you feel like they're too much. Maybe you feel like they will be rejected if you ask for something. This is very common for not only mothers, but just women in general who have had past lives, past generations where we were silenced, where we did not have a voice. This could also show up as you feeling guilty for setting boundaries or asking for your needs. So I know there are still times where this belief system surfaces for myself, and I gotta nip it in the bud and do some reprogramming, because I would ask for something from my husband, or hey, I'm just exhausted, I need to take like half an hour to do nothing, just to rest, meditate, sleep. And then I would be up in my room and I couldn't even relax, because in my mind I was thinking, well, I can't be asking for this, it's too much to ask for this, I have to be on all the time. Can you relate? Chances are you are holding on to this belief. If you didn't feel safe as a child expressing big emotions, because again, past generations held on to the beliefs and programs that children meant to be seen and not heard, then chances are you may also struggle with your kids' big emotions, meaning that maybe you yell, you get aggressive, you react really big, or maybe even ignore the big temper tantrums that they have, which again just passes on the pattern. Okay, I want to pause for a moment. If you're going through this list with me and you're thinking, well, yeah, maybe I have them, maybe I don't, and you're uncertain, I want you to watch this video above, because in that video, I share with you the technique that I use in my one-on-one sessions with my clients, and that I teach in my theta healing seminars, and that I use for myself every single day to fully and physically see if you're holding on to this belief or not. So there's no more guessing. There's just yes or no. And then what you can do is you can pair this technique with the belief vault. So you're going through a list of over 50 different beliefs, and you just check off, yes, I have it, no, I don't. So you have a clear starting point of where you begin to do this work, where the reprogramming is necessary for you, so you can free yourself from the subconscious beliefs and model sovereignty. Okay, now back to the beliefs. This is a third one from the belief vault. And I actually just recorded an activation for this for Inside the Mother Frequency, which again, if you want to know more about that, that is a theta healing activation library. So once you figure out what beliefs you hold on to, you then go inside the Mother Frequency and receive the actual reprogramming. All that's in the description. Okay, I am responsible for everyone else. Just take a moment and feel that. Oh, this one bothers me so much, the amount of mothers who hold on to this belief. And I was one as well. This belief system creates the emotional burnout. This is where you feel like you are giving and giving and giving and giving. And maybe you also have some paired beliefs of I am unsupported, or I have to do it all alone or it won't get done. And I see you. I see you in this, because the pattern, the external reality may have reflected that to you. But I promise you, once you uncover this belief, you will start to see how in all areas of your life, you are taking on more than you need to. And I also promise you, once you do the reprogramming on this, everything changes. Everything. You start to receive more support. People start to offer you more things. You start to have more space to breathe, and your capacity actually increases. Now, I want to acknowledge that this belief system usually was instilled when you were a child, if you had to take care of the emotional regulation of everyone in your household. And chances are that came from parents who were emotionally immature, and their parents were emotionally immature, and 7 generations passed. But this is why doing this work is so powerful, because if you realize that you hold on to this belief, again, through that simple test of yes or no, then you can begin to break the pattern. Then you can change it. You can choose a different path, because you know you're holding on to a belief system that isn't serving you, and I guarantee is not serving your household or your child. Okay, the fourth belief. In theta healing, I have to make sure we clarify. In theta healing, when we work with the subconscious mind, it is unable to interpret the word don't, not, can't, or try. So we phrase it in a way that may make a little bit, I say no all the time. It may no make sense. It may be unable, how's this? I'm just gonna say, it may no make sense. That's how I talk to my daughter. And it's important for you to phrase it in this way, so when you do the test, the brain actually interprets what is meant to be said. So the belief here is, I am not enough, or I am enough, no, meaning that you're not enough. So when this belief shows up, there's a lot of self-doubt. In this, you may be what's called a Google mom. Again, this was myself that first year postpartum where it was my first child. I had no idea what was going on. So you best believe I was Googling at 3 a.m. when I should have been sleeping for those 30 minutes before my daughter woke up. I was Googling. And that self-doubt can just continue on throughout the rest of your motherhood experience. Maybe there is some inner conflict between schooling, between vaccines, between childcare, clothing, food. And your child, if you want to be modeling sovereignty to them, they need to have you as a strong leader. You need to have conviction, you need to have confidence. So that feeling and belief of not being enough, there's no space for that. We have to remove that in order for you to be able to model the sovereignty that you want your kids to be able to have. This is also where that perfectionism behavior comes in, where there's guilt if you make mistakes and you really beat yourself up because you weren't perfect. All this comes down to you're not enough. You may also find that you compare yourself to other moms and what they're doing. And again, feeling like you are not enough. And I want you to just take a moment and I want you to just close your eyes and say to yourself, I'm enough. Even before you test if you have this belief, even before you do the reprogramming on it, just remind yourself that you are enough. That all of that external reality to you, that is just a reflection of what you're holding on to. And that's the power of doing this work. Once you just simply remove that belief and instill it with another one, now your external world begins to reflect that in the most effortless way. Okay, and the last one, this has to do with money. Now, this one is, again, it's a conscious collective belief. I have no idea why. I would love to find the origin of this and just smack them in the back of the head because we don't need this belief. It is, I am unable to manage money. So many mothers that I have had sessions with and done deep dive coaching with, they have this belief that they are unable to be financially prosperous when they're a mom. That when they become a mom, they're only a mom. They can't pursue their purpose. They can't have financial prosperity. They just become the identity of a mom and they lose themselves. But I'm here to tell you that is not the case. That is just programming from the collective, from the matrix that is stopping you from having it all. It's stopping you from being financially prosperous and abundant so you can do the things that you want to do with your child. You can go off grid. You can travel the world and world school them. You can do all the things that without money you feel restricted to do. So these are just 5 belief systems. In the belief vault, there are over 50 belief systems. There's a whole lot more on money, on the body, on self-worth, on love and relationships. And these are intended to support you in doing this work. So you have a clear starting point. So it's not like, oh, I don't know what to test. It's here for you. It is all here for you. So you can simply do the test, check yes or check no. Now, before I end this video and this series on breaking cycles, I want to touch on something really, really important. Breaking cycles doesn't mean that you're never going to get triggered. I get triggered all the time because there are hundreds of thousands of belief systems that are running the show. It doesn't mean that you're never going to mess up. It doesn't mean that all of a sudden you're going to be that perfect mom that you think that you can be. Breaking beliefs starts with the moment of awareness, which is why this series is so powerful. Seeing and using the belief vault is so powerful. And doing the reprogramming is life-changing. But I want to just remind you that you are already breaking cycles. And here are a couple of the most common patterns that I see in my clients when they are in fact breaking beliefs, even if it may not look like it externally yet. So you may find yourself pausing before you react automatically. You get curious about your belief system. So if you're watching this video, you are already breaking beliefs. You do the repair work after difficult moments. There are so many times where, I hate to say it, but I have freaked out at my daughter, at my husband. And what once was, I'm just gonna sit in guilt and I'm a terrible mom, I'm not good enough, I'm unsafe. I now speak and connect with my daughter and my husband to do the repair work. And with that, I am certain that she's not holding on to the trauma that she would have if I just internalized everything and kept my distance. And the most important one, which I feel like I'll probably end up doing a whole series on because it's so common, you end up working on the internal world instead of blaming your child for what is happening around you. So if this video and this series was beneficial to you and has supported you in any way, I truly would appreciate a subscribe, a like, and most importantly, sharing it with another mom. Let's get this movement out there. Let's awaken more mothers to what is possible when we begin to break cycles, when we begin to remove ourselves from the matrix conditioning and generational patterns. And if you want to dive deeper, I have 3 really powerful spaces for you. The first one is the belief vault. And this has a list of over 50 different beliefs that are most common in mothers that you can just simply test yes or no for so you can begin to do this work. The second place is the mother frequency. So once you know what belief systems you have, it's then time to reprogram them. And the most effortless and gentle way is for you to just sit back, plug in, and receive the activations. This app has over 40 different activations already, and there's new ones created and added every single month, as well as there are live theta healing reprogramming sessions to support you in real time. And the third one is the theta healing seminar. This is for you if you want to know how to do this work, if you want to become the true sovereign leader of your household and make the biggest impact. This is 3 days of learning how to do theta healing, how to connect with your child's energy, and how to reprogram subconscious beliefs on 4 levels. So I thank you so much for being here, for being a part of this series, for watching this video, for doing this work. And I'd love to hear in the comments what was the biggest belief out of those 5 that I mentioned today that you are holding on to. And I cannot wait to see you inside the mother frequency in the next upcoming theta healing seminar and downloading the belief vault so you can begin doing this work right now. I love you so much. And until next time, bye.